Hello, Bill Molyneux here with Bill's Wargame World. Alright, Saturday I was in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I ran a heck of a lot of video I couldn't use because of the wind. We did find Stonewall Jackson's arm. So what am I doing with Khartoum? Well, I'm going to go over what I'm working on, 54mm scale. Derek Barton is also working on the Khartoum figures in 54 for a Wargame convention, a one-day event, April 29th. So I'm going to go over what I'm doing, try and make this quick, and 2020 we ran a giant Khartoum game at Cold Wars right before COVID. Many of these figures have not been out of the box since then. It was a monster game. And anyhow, let me show you the table. So, here we have Khartoum. I'm going to pause the camera. Now, using 54mm plastics, I use a really good technique, at least, and I know everyone has different techniques to keep the paint on the darn plastic. If you're an older wargamer, you know that Aerofix plastic and a lot of other plastics just didn't stick in that time period. But by using the Krylon paints as the base coat, it really helps. But I did have some issues with some of the Egyptians. So right now what I'm working on is the figures for Khartoum, and I've had some figures that came off their bases, so I needed to use the E6000. The next thing here, and I'm going to pause the camera. For some reason, bayonets and rifles, no matter how much I polyurethane them, I still seem to have some issues with the paint coming off. Well, of course, I've been really happy with these ink pens. So if you don't have some and you're wargaming with plastic 54s, these things really makes it go really fast. I had to touch up, I don't know, 40 some odd figures here on this table. And I'll take the camera around. So it's just really fast. You have to open up your paints or anything. Oh, hold on. So here's some more sections of Khartoum. I have those dhow boats ready. The camels really look good. Everything here is pretty much painted by Jim Shaw. We have Gordon over here. And there's Derek has quite a few figures also to add to the game, and more walls. This is a pre-set up just to see how things are coming, get the figures back together from the giant convention about 3 years ago now. You know, they take some damage a little bit when you're running a 2,000 or 3,000 figure game. Let's go take a look at the other side of the table. Alright, here's another view of the boats. Now I have to go through all the dervish and fuzzy wuzzies, make sure they're glued good on their bases, and then also touch them up with the paint. Something I'd like to bring out to your attention is a fellow named David at Williamsburg Muster. He gifted me a Whitworth cannon and crew. Now that's a Civil War Whitworth, but it's the same time period for our Khartoum game. And he did such a great job on the figures. They are Egyptians for this game. Color, and I need to get them out of the tub, check their bases, hit them up with the paint pens, and all the naval figures and gunners. So that's where we're at with that. Once I get all these figures painted up, touched up, we'll hit the dervishes and the fuzzy wuzzies. Alright, so we have Gordon of Khartoum, and he's right here. And then I'm going to take a break from miniature wargaming. I was in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and Chancellorsville battlefield over the weekend. And please, if you haven't seen the video of Stonewall Jackson's arm, I made the video of Stonewall Jackson's death house, the house where he died. But I have an Avalon Hill Chancellorsville game. And yes, this thing is 50 years old. It used to belong to my good wargaming friend and historian Elwood Woody Christ, who wrote the book The Struggle for the Bliss Farm. And believe it or not, I haven't really ever played it since high school. So we're talking in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. But I'm going to set this up this week and play Chancellorsville. Even though I have some other Chancellorsville games, I'm going to play that one. Alright, so for Khartoum, this is how it's coming along. I got to touch up all those British troops. I'm using them for the gunners. As you see, I have guns everywhere. And I just don't have enough Egyptians. And I think that's about it. I gotta say, if you don't care for my channel, I'm not asking you to watch. I'd like you to watch my channel and learn a bit about history and wargaming. But I don't do a lot of edits, and it's the way it is. But I appreciate everyone that watches, comments, and likes. And I know I always will have one fan, Jack Brendel out in Arizona from the old Gettysburg area wargamers. So that's about it. I'm going to get the British troops done, and then I'm going to read the rule book to Chancellorsville. Well, stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and thank you again for watching and subscribing.